I do all our passing game stuff, mostly, with little tweaks. Coach Yash really works with the O-line, does a great job with them, and handles a lot of run game stuff. And it works really well. I'm in the box during the games, and Coach Yash is down the field. So that's how we kind of run it as co-offensive coordinator that way. So thanks again for coming. We're in our last session of the day. Don't need to preach on it, but you guys are making a difference in your kids' lives. You're taking time out of your day on a Saturday, you're doing other things, but you're here learning football. So our kids are going to thank you for that down the road. Kind of some reasons for our success. First of all, we have great culture and buy-in from our players. Okay, that's number one. You can have any type of scheme you want, okay, but if you don't have a great culture and buy-in from your players, you're not going to get very far. We have coachable student athletes. We have strong work ethic, mixed with talented kids. Coach has said it already. We have some talented kids this year. All right, but we match that talent with a strong work ethic. All right, we got a lot of work done that way. So those are kind of our top 3 reasons we found success this year. Had nothing to do about me. There's my stats for the year. There's our other quarterback stats for the year. All right, I think a lot of times, as high school coaches, we can try to take the credit on ourselves. All right, and it was nothing I did. I didn't throw 1 pass or 1 touchdown. There's our other 2 guys. Obviously, our main starter, Brayden Boone, had a big year, threw for 3,400 yards, 63%, 44 touchdowns. We had a backup that started kind of split reps at the beginning of the year, and then he ended up finishing the season for us due to an injury to our number 1 guy. All right, and then there's my staff. So just, again, I don't need to preach on that, but just a reminder. It's what the kids do on the field. And I didn't do any of that this year. Kind of a breakdown of where we're at as a team. We're in 10 personnel 60% of the time. This is our first year in the spread pistol. All right, so we went 10, 60% of the time. But we found out we stayed pretty balanced in that. What I mean by that is how we line up formationally. We're in a 3-by-1, 56% of the time, and a 2-by-2, 44% of the time. And this year, if you talk to anybody about Onalaska football, they say we chucked it around a lot, which we did, but we managed to stay pretty balanced within our play selection as well. I mean, 54, we wanted to pass first this year, but we also did find a lot of success in our run game. All right, you would think going from a split back veer system to the pistol, all right, that our running back wouldn't have more yards, but he did. He had less carries and more yards in our spread pistol than he did in our split back veer system. All right, so we were managed to stay balanced. What I look at is pass to catch. How far are we throwing it downfield? And I think Monona drill coaches did a great job of that. You don't need to throw the ball deep downfield to have an explosive passing offense. And that's kind of how we wanted to create it. So when I look at that as how far are we throwing from the quarterback to the catch? And on average, this year, was less than 8 yards, about 7.7 yards. We want to create high percentage throws. We weren't throwing it down the field very much. All right, but with that, we were able to get our athletes in space with our average completion of almost 17 yards. All right, so you can see there's about a 10-yard gap there where we were able to create positions with our athletes to get them in space in high percentage throw and catch situations. All right, just to kind of highlight our best game passing wise this year was 35 completions, and our average pass to catch was under 5 yards. Yet we were still able to throw it for 332 yards, 7 touchdowns. What's hidden in this stat, which I was most proud of, is 7 touchdowns that came to 5 different receivers that game. 5 different kids found themselves in the end zone with the ball, and that's a special thing. And that was versus a 5-0 team. All right, that was a big win for us. We were 4-1 at the time. We came in versus a 5-1 team. That was a big win. And that's how versus a quality team. Our kids were able to do that. What I want to cover today. Just one thing, take something away that you can immediately implement into your offense. I know you've probably taken away quite a bit today, but just want to add one more thing to your guys' playbook. And then connect concepts so they can be used in any offense, not just the spread. All right, because I know not everybody in the room is a spread. We've heard a lot of spread today, but you're going to find what we do can really be applied to any offense you run. All right, so that's my goal for today. Really talking about game planning, going to kind of cover how we kind of game plan versus man, how we game plan versus 1 high, whether we're getting 3 or man, and then game planning versus 2 high, whether it's 4 or kind of what we consider kind of a 2 read. We saw a little bit this year where it kind of could have been 2 or it could have been 4 depending on what the defense, the corners and safeties are seeing. And again, back to our goal. Our goal is to create one-on-ones in space through high percentage throws. All right, I think when we were able to do that, we were able to get our athletes the ball, they were able to do some special things for us. All right, again, throwing short, all right, to create space and then let them do the work. Okay. So that was our goal in all of this, as we kind of built this offense. Again, we're kind of in the trial run. We've only been 1 year into it. How we look to game plan to attack areas versus too high is we really like to attack the boundary. Okay, we feel that a lot of times we want to go to the field because there's more grass out there. We found a lot of success really attacking that boundary. All right, and then what are we going to do when we do attack the flats? And then we really have found a lot of success this year hitting the seam. There's wide safeties out of a too high. All right, if you're in the room, listen to Mankato coach talk. When those safeties are wide, there's a lot of room right in the middle where we can attack that area. And we're able to find some success in that. So when we sit down game plan, we think we're getting a too high team. How can we attack those areas? We'll get into that a little bit, each one here. When we're talking the boundary, we see it as a one-on-one into the boundary. We like to do it with a simple out route if we're in a 3x1. All right, if we get into a 2x2, we're going to attack the boundary using a simple hitch route. All right, with our number 2 guy running a hitch. All right, holding that backer there, so we're working the one-on-one outside hitch for our number 1. All right, and hopefully we'll get some clips there too. We just got a single receiver back there. We like to just get them a simple out route. We are in a 2x2 to the boundary. We like to just do a hitch route.
Coach, in between here, could you expand that screen? My eyes are real bad.
Oh, I appreciate it. I apologize about that. Should have did that from the beginning. Can I make it bigger for you? Is that good? All right. Sorry about that. Again, any questions going or you're trying to write something down, I can slow down, just let me know. So here you go, we got it's kind of cut off, but we are in a 3x1 here. All right, they're playing a too high team, and we're going to look at just how much space is into that boundary. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going, we got the single receiver back there. We don't think that backer can get out underneath our out route. It just turns into a one-on-one versus soft corner. 7 yards, all right, 1st and 10. Our end zone film gives us a good look here, right, with that single receiver versus 2 highs. We're just going to attack that boundary. All right, we're having a soft bail corner. All right, we're giving us kind of a cover 4 look, the 4-2 box. All right, that backer is going to be able to get his run read and get underneath that out. If he is, then we need to start running. All right, so again, just trying to keep things simple. All right, and high percentage throws here. Get it to him 7 yards. And what we teach our quarterback, if you're worrying about quarterback play, all right, we just tell him to get it out as fast as he can. From the pistol, I know the Mankato guy was talking about 3-step drop. We just do a 1-step. Any short throw, he's taking a step right through the throw, catching and ripping. All right, try to get him to him as fast as he can. You can see the quarterback here, he does a great job. Catch, 1 step, throw, it's on. All right, so that's how we like to attack the boundary to a single receiver versus soft corner, drawing a simple out route back there. Another clip of it here. Got a lot of room up there at boundary here. We got the H. We're going to keep him in. All right, we're going to keep him in. And we're just going to work that out route to the top of the screen. Again, you got a soft corner, quarterback catch and throw, put it on. Let your guys make plays. As you can see that extended backer isn't going to be able to get his run read and underneath that out route, we're breaking the sideline.
Tag routes for your field, like what we're talking about in here?
Yeah.
Are they running something, or you're just sticking with that?
Yeah, for sure they are. What we do this year is we always call 2 concepts. We have a field concept and a boundary concept. So they might be running hitch, stick, seam, and then we could be running hitch, slant, out on the backside. So basically right here, we just called it in as, I'm sure, obviously an out to the boundary, and then some field concept, quarterback looked to the boundary, saw their space, just took the simple out. Yeah, good
So
question.
is there any way to be like, look at the boundary first, if you don't like it, then we'll add our field concept?
Yeah, yep, mostly. We want to take the shortest throw if we can. And then also we have on the week as we're game planning too is, okay, if we get this look, we have this field concept, you know, we get this concept called work the field. So, but we always have we had two concepts on. We never did just hitch and everybody runs a hitch, or out, everybody runs an out. There was always, you know, two concepts going at once. I think that really made us multiple. And also too, I don't know if I said it already, but we were in a huddle. We did like to push the tempo as much as we could. Again, we signaled in, that's how we did it. A coach signaled in formation, a coach signaled in the play. I know we heard some different things with dummy boards and wristbands and stuff like that. For our first year, we just did signals from the side.
Doing both your concepts, individuals' sides, was there a key signal from the field and the boundary, or was it one concept that was signaled in that we knew it was field this boundary?
Yep, it was left to right. So if we signaled in hitch stick, the hitch was always going to be left to right. Stick concept would be to the right. So coming out right here, probably hitch stick, we'll just use that example, or sorry, out stick. So we got left to right. The left is into the boundary, he's got the out, sticks to the field. And that's how we signaled in all our concepts. It's just a simple left to right. The wideouts always knew. Whether I'm on the left side of the formation or I'm on the right side of the formation, and I know my concept. And that was a big thing this year too, is I don't know, I mean there probably was somewhere in there, but it was a very small sampling of wideouts, you know, being confused. Or the quarterback and the wideout not on the same page because we're signaling in what the route is. Right? So that also helped us out to be successful too with the communication. Sometimes you don't get the best film work early. Maybe we'll get it here. Basically what we're doing here is we're in a 2x2. It's the same cover 4 team. Our quarterback decides to work the hitch to the field. Again, so you can see to the far right, we have 24, our slot receiver. Obviously 33 would be the backer. And basically he's just running what we call a wrap route, which he wants to attack the outside shoulder to hold him in there to create the space out to our number 1 in the hitch. So again, 33 there is essentially what would be our flat defender. We got a soft corner out there. We're catching in space and let your kid make somebody miss. All right.
Definitely your hitch, just expect more.
That's what we like. Yep, we like 6 to 5. You know, we really wanted to time it up. Whereas he was coming out, we were trying to catch it, so we weren't giving up those yards. But yeah, we try to push vertical to 6, at least to 6. Especially versus that soft corner. If you're getting a soft corner, to keep him back. And we talked to the wideouts a lot and worked on keeping your separation. If you're gonna push him vertical and make him back up, right? And when you make your cut, you need to be working back to the football to continue that separation, to keep that separation. Because when you get the ball in your hand, we want you with space so you can make a move. All right, so that was one way. I have 2x2 where you're just throwing simple hitch out there to the field. Here you can see it into the boundary. All right. So we're going to be working the hitch concept here into the boundary. Again, we got that soft corner, the backer out over our number 2 into the boundary, and he's got a wrap route, so we're going to hold him, and we're looking to really, again, it's just a one-on-one hitch to our number 1 to the boundary. And we'll see here from the end zone, we get a little misaligned, but again, there's a lot of space down here into the boundary to throw it. Still has space, he makes a move, 8 yards. What I said here, I would like our number 2 to be up on the top of the numbers. They're pretty tight. All right, they're pretty tight. This isn't ideal spacing. And then when he takes off, he never presses in to that backer's outside shoulder. But luckily he stays in there. The backer's still getting a run pass read. And we're able to work that hitch to the boundary. All right. So if we're getting a 2-high team, we want to attack that boundary in a single receiver. We're going to do a simple out. It's a 2x2. We're going to look to get the hitches. And 1st and 10, 8 yards. That puts us in a good position for a 2nd and 2. Stay on schedule. When we're planning to attack the flats, when we look to now, when we want to work more the field versus too high, we want to get into our favorite, which is our clear concept, our stick concept, and our bubble. And just to show you what our clear concept is, it's one of our favorites. All right. We call our slot T. We'll have an F, Z, and say we had an X, just out of this formation. All right. Basically, we're just going to run him on a flat, run him on a post corner, and we're going to run the Z on a sit route. And 8 times out of 10, that Z is sitting there waiting for the ball. All right. And then he gets that thing, and he makes 1 step, and he gets his vertical as fast as he can. All right. Usually what happens, if you get that soft corner, the safety, and the backer versus a too high team, and we're working this concept here. See, a lot of times he gets immediate flat route, so he's going to chase. The backer's out of it. The safety's here, and the corner is already soft. And once this backer clears, we have a nice void there. And this backer coming out of the box isn't able to get underneath that fast enough. We ran it 2 ways this year. We ran it out of a sprint out and just a drop back. Both of them were very effective for us. Right? By no means was our quarterback a runner, so it wasn't a run threat, but once you started moving him, it really does manipulate the backer's eyes and what they're going to do. Okay? So we did run out of sprint out, which was effective, and we ran out of just drop back.
Is this step and throw again, or do you go with a maybe 3?
He basically just steps and sits on it. Yeah, and usually gets it out quick. I don't know. One time we did hit this in the red zone because we got man. And all of a sudden they came down to kind of play a soft man, and that was where our best matchup was. Yeah. So we'll just look there, but that was a very good concept for us. And then when we get to stick, our stick is just gone, out, 5-yard stick route. Just creating that lateral separation here. Unless we get a one-on-one with one of our kids and our quarterback wants to take a chance there. That's always an option. He feels that's best. All right? And then obviously our bubble's bubble. But when we get into these and we're talking how we want to attack the flats versus a too high team, we really like our clear, and we really like stick, and we really like bubble. Again, trying to find very high percentage throws, not having to throw the ball very far downfield. We'll see a couple clips of our clear, our stick, and our bubble. First, too high, how we're going to attack the field. So here's this clear. We got 3 on the flat. Our number 2 is going to be around the post corner, and we're going to get into our number 1 coming in on that slant and sit right behind him. Again, there's a lot of room right there. Backer goes with the flat, corner stays soft. And our kid makes a play. Very good athlete, that is boy right now. Early in the year, this is game 2 of the year, so we were sprinting out to it. High percentage throw, yards after the catch. That's here's a little zoomed in version of it. .41 down here on the sideline, the D lineman. He thinks anytime our guys catch the ball, it's going to be a touchdown. He's wrong, but I like the enthusiasm. There's one, again, just a clip. Same clip, we're just sprinting out to it. You can see it. I mean, you don't need special kids to make that throw and catch. All right? That's something you can take back right now with the kids you have and be effective with that. He knows his job is to get vertical as soon as he can. He does a good job of that. You know, look at it. How simple throws can turn into big plays. That one for 63, I think we threw it quarterback to wide out was about 6 yards. And you sneaking in behind you. Here's the tie of it. And it's upfield. Here it is. We even like it down to the goal line, sprint out to it again. For touchdown. So it gets a little tighter because they try to pass it off. All right, but it's difficult for those two backers to let a guy go and then come back and sit underneath their sit row. That's our clear concept, how we want to attack the field versus too high coverage. Now we're going to talk to our stick concept here. All right, so that's a lower one. Basically, one's running the guy off. All right, 2 is on the out route, and our number 3 is on the short stick. All right. You can see here the corner turns and runs with him. The safety's soft, easy throw and catch to the field.
You don't have it here, but is the bottom guy supposed to like speed out, or is there a different concept because you have to go on to...
Here I'm guessing we probably called stick fade. I'm guessing our concept here was stick fade. So we're running stick, again, left to right. Stick is our field concept, and fade is the right concept, or the boundary concept. Quarterback gets up there, he sees obviously the squat corner there, and also the safety, you guys see his helmet, he's kind of cut off. Doesn't like the fade, but knows we've got a lot of room to the field, so he just decides to work the stick concept. And we're just trying to create high percentage throws that our kids do work after the catch. Here's another look at our stick. Now here's one where I think our quarterback could have went to our number 3. All right, but he decides to take the outside throw, which is fine. There's room there too. Again, we're trying to laterally stretch that flat defender. Kid, quarterback's able to put an accurate ball on him. Yards after the catch. All right, now we're going to get into our bubble again. Versus 2 high teams, we really like to run bubble. I would say game in to game out, that was our number 1 we wanted to get to. Some way, somehow, we want to find ways to get to bubble. Again, just because of very high percentage throws, and it gets our kids in space to make something happen. So here we're just using our H, we call him our H-back, just to motion. That's more simply just for, eye candy, for just some movement. There's really no reason for that. And we got a corner and then a very soft safety. We're just going to throw, catch, and get it out as fast as we can. Well, the other coaches are going to talk, and if bubble is going to be a part of something, you need to work on blocking every day with your wideouts. And 3 does a great job. The bottom of the screen, and that corner wanted to jump inside, so we just rode him inside. All right, we don't tell him you got to make him go inside, you don't got to make him go outside. Where that corner goes, you go with him and you lock on. All right, make the guy ball carry behind you, make it right. So again, there's 3. He jumps inside, you're just going to walk him down. And we're just trying to find space. sounds super fuzzy. I don't know what's going on with our camera. It's better go from a little zoomed in. But again, we feel we have the numbers back out here. All right, 3 for 3. We're going to block 2 of them. We're going to ask our kid to make one other guy miss. Same thing like the other coach has been talking. We teach our number 2 to take most dangerous. All right, obviously pre-snap, he thinks that's going to be a linebacker just based upon alignment. And that's safety being so soft. All right, our number 1 will always take the corner. 2 is going to take most dangerous. Obviously, number 3 is going to be getting the bubble. He locks onto him. Great block by our wide out on the top of the screen. Our no huddle was special on that. And talk about spotting the ball. Sometimes that does happen. It's to slow down. Catch, get it out. You guys made great blocks. We threw it 4 yards. Not even 4 yards downfield. 26 on that play. And then again, talking game plan to attack the seam. Right, we want to identify safety alignment, see how wide they are. And if wide safety, the seam, we like to get to a 3-by-1 and attack the seam. All right, if we're going to have really wide safeties, and we saw that a lot. Obviously, I think teams really respected our outside guys we had, our outside receivers, so they wanted to provide those corners help as much as they could. All right, if you're seeing that, okay, we didn't want to force that into our outside receivers. We'll just take the seam if that was open. And it sounds so basic about what the defense gives you, but that's really what we did. We tried to be as simple as we could this year. So pre-snap, you can see those wide safeties, top of the screen, the field safety, or in the middle. Top of the screen safety's wide, the bottom of the screen. In the boundary, he's wide because he has a 3-by-1. Alright, so what we're going to do with our number 3 is right when he clears, we talk and work with our quarterbacks all the time, don't wait to throw the seam. Alright? When he clears that backer, we want to stick it on him so he has room to work. And that's exactly what he does, and we're able to split the safeties. Here's a better look at the wide safety alignment. We're just working number 3. Here's a good look at our quarterback doing a great job of anticipating this throw and sticking it on him and not floating one over the middle so our guy can catch and run. Like I said again, I mean, we're not looking to throw it deep down the field. All right, that pass there is probably catching it right about 8-9 yards, and then we're able to turn it into a big play after that. Almost a similar look, different team. Again, we got the wide safeties. We're just looking to work our number 3 with a quick hitter. And he was able to do the rest. Yeah. Here's another shot again on our quarterback, anticipating this throw. Nice job. Trying to get it off quick and run. And there's a time and place to chuck it deep on a one-on-one outside fade, where our quarterback did a really nice job this year understanding when we're running seams to get it out quick. Quick and accurate, and let those guys do the work afterwards. One, he's got to be a little more patient on it. This team was too high, but they're actually playing a man. All right, so they brought that. There's actually a corner on our number 2 there. He just does a nice shake route. Again, middle of the field. Wish our guy, I don't think he needed to fall down on that one, but it was completion, we moved the ball. Any questions so far, what we're doing? All right. So game plan to attack areas versus one high. We're looking to get outside the numbers with bubble, and then up the hash with seam. All right, up the hash with seam. Again, if you're in here with the Mankato guy, kind of similar things. When they're one high, let's laterally stretch that safety by hitting them up the seam. All right. Our throwing short underneath is we're looking to get outside the numbers with bubble. And here's one high, traditional cover 3 team, giving us a lot of space. Where we just want to throw it quick, and let our guys work.
Take it to make number 1 come off the card.
We did talk adjustment on this a little bit, on how we wanted this, because all game we were getting that field corner, like even pre-snap, sometimes already battling. So we said, heck with it, you just crack the guy that's playing in between 2 and 3, and when he comes down, it's our guy that gets the ball. He's got to make a miss. That was his job. So that was an adjustment on our bubble, just based on how that corner was playing there. You can see there how he shuffled bails hard. Don't even worry about him. Take the backer, they'll be coming out to the bubble, which he does. And 3 does a great job of making that corner miss. All right. That was a big play for us.
Do you bubble at number 2 all the time, or do you bubble number 3?
We'll bubble both of them. Yep.
Is that predetermined, or is that...
Yeah, kind of depending on game plan situation is kind of who do we want to get into this week. I think here we were just, this game, we had the best matchup with 3, and we were trying to get into his hands a little more. So we said we're going to adjust it, we're going to put him as the number 2, and try to get him the ball in the bubble. Again, here's just a different, same team, but a different clip at it. Here's where we get it to number 3. That backer's playing a little more head up on number 2 this time. Instead of splitting the difference, the corner's down, so we're going to look to get it to number 3. And you can see our wideouts doing a great job of locking their blocks, running their feet, making sure they're staying out. Getting those guys covered up. That's just a long handoff right there, running bubble. Again, you see it's the same team, it's the same game. All right, but again, that's what they were giving us. All right, it wasn't, well, I don't know, coach, we've called bubble 8 times already this game. Well, I don't care, we're getting 20 yards a game, or 20 yards of bubble, 17 yards of bubble. That's what I mean, where we kept things simple. In some games, we only called maybe 12 total plays, because that's what was working. We didn't need to get deep into our playbook if we didn't have to. All right, and this is a game where we didn't have to get deep into our playbook. As the bubble was open, that's what they were going to give us. We were going to keep it simple. Again, guys, outside wideouts do a great job of locking them up. All right. This is nice. I mean, we're backed up. We're on our 9-yard line. 1st and 10. We had a great punt, changed the field. In one play, we were able to get out of that. All right, by simply throwing bubble out there and letting our athletes work. Catch, get it out as fast as you can. Getting into our seam a little more, one high, getting out of 3x1, trying to work it up the hash. All right, so our number 3 wideout, he's going to be working to the opposite hash. Our number 2 is going to be working right up the hash, and our number 1 should be working to the top of the numbers. This is our playoff game where our backup came in throws a little different ball than our starter, but it got there on time and is where we wanted the football to go. All right, he's able to drop one in there, really nice play for him. And that's even with that backer kind of playing soccer, that safety spun down, we'll still get behind him and find that void right up the seam. Now you see us hitting the seam up the hashes out of a 2x2 look. I know the picture is not that clear, that one high safety. All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're looking to hit what's our best matchup up the seam out of our number 2 receivers. Again, right up the seam. And again, good job of our quarterback understanding what we want to do, and that's get rid of it quick once he clears and that ball's on a line, you can keep running. We did see man a little, not that much, but here and there. And basically what we came to when we were looking at beating man and game plan versus man is, finding the best matchup, not always the best route. All right? Not always the best route or not always the best concept, but your best matchup. How can you get the kids you're confident in on some of the weaker defenders on their side? All right? And we were able to do that by moving guys to create best matchups, trying to get wide receivers on linebackers. I think a lot of times teams can get set in their ways. A lot of the times we take our stud receiver and he's our number 1 always to the field. Or he's our number 1 always to the boundary. Because that's where the number 1 wide receivers play. They play on the outside. Let's take them and put them at number 3. Right? And the defense don't adjust. And they don't bring their corner in and take their linebacker out. Now you got your number 1 on the linebacker. All right? So don't be afraid to move your guys around and put them in a slot. Okay? Or take your slot, now you put them out into the number 1. Again, you just got to move the pieces to find your best matchup. As we did here on the top of the screen, those are probably predominantly our 2 outside receivers. Okay, usually plays number 1. They're number 1s to the field, number 1 to the boundary. Well, what we did is we put them on the same side. That's the first time we put them on the same side in a 2x2. And what it did is it got our slot receiver there on a backer who's off a little more. And all we're going to do is run a simple out route with him. All right, 12 yards. And all it did was we just moved pieces around and put him in a different position and got him on a linebacker that was soft. The other thing out of man, we didn't run a lot of screens this year, but we knew when we faced this team and we were getting man all day, 2 high man all day, we knew we had to get to our screen game. Right? I think a lot of times, basically what they got is that middle backer, the only one in the box, is manned up on the running back. When you're passing all day, he kind of forgets about the running back because the running back's only been fitting up and helping with pass protection. So what we wanted to do is get to a screen. Again, sometimes we just motion guys just to motion them. We knew we're running screen that way, away from the motion. There's a lot of room. We get the line out and running, and got our running back involved. The passing game. All right. So screen in itself isn't the best route concept, but it is our best matchup for that play. And you can see that linebacker kind of get lost in there, and now he's got a 3-on-1 to deal with. We're able to gain nice yards on a simple screen route on that man. Again, simple throws and catches. We're getting man here again too. We went to our seam, see if we could work a one-on-one. And what I told you about not necessarily best routes or matchups is the kid at the bottom of our screen is our backup quarterback. He didn't play wide out that much. We needed him for this game, and it ended up being we felt that's where our best matchup was. Which happened to be our backup quarterback on what was their probably about number 3 corner. We felt our kid was a better athlete, could beat him. So we went with it. Nice ball, and he makes a great catch. That's where we felt our best matchup was versus man. Again, here we want to go into a little bit. Here's this man team, and again, we're just trying to find our best matchups. And our quarterback, great job. He's a smart kid. All right, he scanned the defense, says, well, where's the soft spot? He found it. Again, the guy in the slot who's going to throw it to down here to the boundary, or number 2 is that backup quarterback again. Right, primarily a defensive guy for us. Played a little bit of wide out, not much. All right, we stuck him in there, but again, that's where our best matchup was. Soft, simple hitch. 11 yards. Okay. The offense gets fun. Here's throwing quarterback to quarterback. Again, he's just finding the soft spot. That's his best matchup. Sticks it on there, 11 yards. As far as in-game adjustments, what we really look to do is, we just kind of adjusted our lineup, where we moved our pieces around. We adjusted our routes. And then sometimes, fellas, I think you just got to draw some up. All right, sometimes we just drew things up. Okay, we never rep this. We don't have this in. We're going to run it. When we call it, you're going to run it. And the kids like that. All right, it's kind of the backyard football that sometimes in-game adjustments we had to do. You just draw one up. All right? Again, there's really nothing complex to it. I don't think I'm an over-smart football coach. We just try to keep things simple. Here you can see we stack. What this team did is they really blocked out that linebacker to take away our bubble. Again, like I told you, we like to get to bubble. So what we did, he was kind of giving us some fits, so all we did was stack our number 3 behind our number 2 to widen him away from that alley backer. Right, it's the only adjustment we made. So when I talk about adjusting alignment, that's all we did. We felt that gave us an advantage where that alley guy was no longer a factor. And we were able to get to the edge and run our bubble like we like to. You see here we can stack. We didn't stack that much. All right, but this was a good in-game adjustment for us. You can see there, typically 24, number 3 receiver, where he would be, how that alley overhang linebacker would be a problem. So what we did was stack them to widen. We were able to get to the edge. All right, here, this in-game adjustment here. All right, we're going to hit the seam, and you're going to think the seam was called, but it was actually hitch. All right, we're trying to work the hitch route here versus soft corner, and we've been hitting that all game with our number 2s. Kind of what I talked about earlier is trying to wrap that linebacker to open up the number 1 on the hitch. All right, our kids came back, and we kind of looked at it like, well, we're really not doing anything. Just keep running this wrap route. And we had already hit the seam earlier. When we call seam, we want to get to our number 2. Then we just partnered them together. We said anytime we call seam or hitch, number 1s are going to have the hitch, number 2s are going to have the seam. So now we have both routes on in our concept. All right? Because if we just called hitch, that number 2 is completely out of it. All right, so what we did was we said, all right, instead of your wrap route, you hit a seam and the quarterback gets to pick. Obviously, you know which one you think you did. You went for the seam more times than even a couple times when they weren't supposed to when the hitch was open. All right, that's what I mean by a route adjustment. Instead of a wrap route, we just had him on a seam. He goes to the top of the screen, I believe. There it is. You can see our number 1, he just runs his hitch. Number 2 to the top of the screen would usually have a wrap, because hitch concept is on, but we adjusted it and told him we're going to run a seam, and our quarterback hits it. All right, that was a route adjustment in that game. Here's another route adjustment, like I said earlier about this man team. Our number 2 there is one of our top receivers. Usually he's a number 1. All right, plays opposite from the number 1 to the field right now. Again, this game we put him on the same side in 2x2. We thought that's where we had our best matchup on that day. We've been running him on that out route I showed you earlier. All right, we don't have a jerk concept, but we said with all these out routes, we need to run a jerk concept. So he's just going to take one step to that out. We have 2 high safety, and we're going to split them. All right, that was kind of one just drawn up. We didn't even have that. All right, we didn't even install. We never ran a jerk route up until this point in the season. I don't know, this game, week 6, week 7. All right, we never ran jerk route. We drew one up on the sideline. Said when we go 2x2 and call jerk route, that's what you're going to have, and we're going to hit them. All right, and it worked out for us. That's one we just drew up. So the out, we called it a jerk route, took a step out, hit the seam, we found it. Okay? So that was fun. That was fun when you can just draw one up sometimes like that and see how it works. If it doesn't work, don't run it again. Draw something out better. All right? We did hit this. It wasn't nearly as wide open. The kid really played it really well. Our quarterback was actually, threw a rocket of a ball, but we hit this for a touchdown later in the game, 2 on the jerk route. And we had success with it, so we went back to it. All right? It wasn't nearly as wide open. Our kid had to make a really good play. He was able to do that. Here's one, another adjustment we made. Again, we didn't see a lot of mans. This team gave us a lot of mans. We found ourselves making the most adjustments. Again, we want to run bubble as much as we can. Obviously, versus press man, bubble's not a good look. So what we did here is we're going to motion into bubble. Number 1 is going to run his guy off. Number 2 to the field, he's going to run a slant and crack the guy that's running in motion with our motion guy. All right, that was an adjustment we were able to make, so we were able to still run bubble. Do it. And again, since they were playing man, we figured that the guy over number 2 was going to follow him thinking he ran a slant. So we took out 2 guys with running a slant and blocking the guy that's running in motion on this man, and we were able to run bubble. We ran bubble like this, 1 play all year, and this is the play. That's the adjustment we made. That kid got up, he was fine, shook our kid's hand, kept playing. Kind of takeaways in our passing game. Again, we just want to create one-on-ones in space through high percentage throws. All right, through high percentage throws. I think Monona Grove, and you see our film, you don't need to throw the ball deep to have an explosive passing game. All right, we weren't chucking the ball deep this year. Got a game plan for success and be willing to adjust. All right, even the best game plans need to be adjusted. And then there's our passing stats for the year combined. 4,800 yards, 49 touchdowns. When I talk about point number 2, you don't need to pass it deep. 40% of our completions was on a bubble, a hitch, or an out. And we had pretty good success running it. So I think we just tried to keep things simple as we could through high percentage throws, and we were able to find success with that. Overall, we were able to go 9-2 this year with a conference championship, which hadn't been done in about 10 years. Got to level 2 and ran into a tough team on a tough night. Our season got in a little short. All right, but our kids love playing in our system. They had a lot of fun. I think the no-huddle helped us with that as well. But that's how we ran. It's time to get out of here.
Good.
All right, sounds good. Thanks guys again for coming.